All right, we'll tackle the functions today. All right, so let's do find qualified candidates. So from the name of the function, I can guess what this does. So we're going to do export function find qualified candidates. It takes a job and an array of candidates. So remember, I have candidate, and then I have this these brackets to indicate it's an array of candidates. And this will return an array of candidate. All right, cool. So, all right, so what we're gonna do is there's two ways to do this. There's like a fancy way, and then there's like the for loop way. And the for loop way is fine. I want to go over the for loop way because I want you to drill this into your skulls. All right, so this is going to be make placeholder, loop through array. If element matches criteria, put into placeholder, return placeholder. This basic pattern is the same for like if I asked you like what's the minimum number, or like give me all the even numbers, or it doesn't, the fact that this is like candidate and job makes no difference. I'm basically having a variable that's going to hold my values as I go through my loop. I'll loop through the array, I'll return the placeholder. That's basically what the pattern. So if I were to like do a skeleton for the algorithm for find qualified candidates for this function, I can be like let qualified candidates, which is an array of candidate, equals blank array. Then we would loop through the array. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to put all that there. Then for let candidate of candidates. Okay, since they're objects, candidate of candidates, because they're objects, I like to use the of for the for loop, and then return qualified candidates. Like this is the basic skeleton. So the only thing that we need to do here inside the for loop is tell whether or not the person's qualified. So if candidate dot fits job, then qualified candidates dot push candidate. Okay, so I figure out whether or not the candidate fits the job. If they do, they go into this array. And after the for loop is done, so remember, after line 16, once we get to line 17, the for loop is over with. Okay, it's gone through everybody. And again, I don't know how many candidates there are. There could be 5. There could be 10,000. Okay, this is an array of candidates. I have no idea how many it's going to be, but it does not matter because I'm going to loop through them all. If they fit the job, I put them into this placeholder on line 10, and I return the placeholder on line 18. You see how this fits this pattern? Okay, so when you learn algorithms, they follow patterns, and there's like several of them, and you're gonna like as you do more, you'll find these patterns. But I want you to be in the mindset of looking for the pattern, and not just trying to like memorize a solution, like memorize the genre of solution, the kind of solution. Now, there's all this. Another way to do it would be I'm gonna just go ahead and call it the fancy way. X for find quality candidates fancy. Okay, we're gonna return candidates.filter. Okay, so filter is a method that is for arrays. Because the candidates variable is an array, you get to use filter. Filter takes in a function as an argument. X, so we're gonna use an arrow. Okay, it's correct. There's that callback function. And so what I'm saying is what criteria, again, like this part here, am I looking for? I want to see if it fits the job. So I'll take X dot, and X, you're like, well, what is X, Jonathan? X is going to be a candidate. Because remember, it's filtering through an array of candidates, so each object is a candidate. So X, this variable, stands for a candidate. Again, you could name this violin. It doesn't have to be X. Okay, fits job. Okay, filter always returns an array. It will return an array of objects that fit this criteria. The criteria is right here. If there are no objects that fit the criteria, it will return an empty array. That is the way filter works. There's no adjustment of that. Okay, so like you can't be like, well, I want filter to return undefined. It doesn't do that. Okay, filter returns an empty array if it doesn't find anything. Okay, this and this are the same thing. Okay, this is obviously more like more space, so people would prefer to use filter. Try practicing it. Okay, filter takes in a function as an argument. That's the most mind-bendy thing. Okay, this is pretty straightforward. You can read and tell what's happening. This is like, okay, just give me the function you want me to run for each object in this array, and then I'll give you back an array of objects for that function return true. A little bit more like mind bendy, but again, you can see how much more compact this is. All right, let's do more functions. So I'll leave the regular function, the fanciness there. Okay, get combined years experience. Okay, I love the way these are named. I can automatically know what the function does just by the name. Export function, combine years experience. I'm guessing it gets an array of candidates as a parameter. How did I know that? Candidates, which is an array of candidates. And I'm guessing it returns a number. Does it? Yep, it sure does. Add together the years experience for each candidate in the array to get the sum. Okay. You're getting the sum of things in an array. It looks like we're going to do this exact same thing again. So again, I even do let combine years equals 0 at the beginning. I'm going to do for let candidate of candidates. And I'm going to return combined years. You see how I followed it? Like, we're asking a different question, but it's the same thing, really. It's exactly the same thing. So what we can do now is just basically do combine years plus equals candidate dot years experience. Done. Okay, you see how like knowing these patterns makes working on these functions like way faster, because all you're doing is saying, okay, it fits this pattern, cool. Put this here, put that there, and then you're kind of done. Okay, now you might be asking yourself, how do we do this fancy? Of course we can do it fancy. All right, so let's do export function, and I don't want to type all this out again. I'll just put fancy. All right, this is a good case for the reduce function. So the reduce is probably the more complicated, but not really. Once I show you the syntax, it'll make sense. So again, reduce is a function that exists for arrays. So because candidates is an array of candidate, then reduce, we get reduce. So we're going to do reduce. It takes in a function. Okay, but for this time, it has two parameters. All right, it has the previous value and then the next value. So I'm just going to do x and y, and then do arrow. Now, if you're ever wondering like what these are, just hover over it. Okay, so y is the candidate. So for example, I want to take all the years of this object and reduce them, which means like combine them into just one number. So what I want to do is go through my list. The x is going to be the number as I go through. So the x is a placeholder right here. So I want to go through each one and add the combined years to x each time to reduce it to one number. So I'm going to do x plus y dot years experience. So TypeScript was awesome in that it was able to deduce what each of these things were. So like you have like y, right? So I did dot and it picked up years experience. All right, and so x is a number. Okay, this is the number, like, again, it's the placeholder from here. Go over this again to see if you understand this logic. We have this, because as we add, we have to have some number that holds the value as we loop through, right? So x is that variable. It's going to hold my value as I loop through the array. So for each time I loop through the array, take the years of experience and add it to my placeholder and start at 0. Okay, now this number here is what number do you start at? What number does x start at? Okay, and you can be anything. I can have it start at 100. Okay, if that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to start at 0. Okay, see how I did like making it 0 here? This whole like concept here is the same here. It's just all of this concept is condensed into one line. All right, so I'm just going to return. Okay, and it's going to reduce this. So basically I have all these objects, and I'm just saying, okay, out of all these objects, I would like this one thing. Okay, that's it's reduce. Okay, that's why it's called that. Okay, and again, your placeholder variable and this is the object you're iterating through. Then you give it a function. Okay. What I'm saying is take my placeholder variable and add the years of experience to it, and then when you start the loop, start off at 0. Okay, play around with this. Reduce is very, very useful. Okay, so as you can see, like I said, I want to show you the for loop way, and I want to show you the fancy way. We're going to do more in the coming weeks with these fancier functions because you're going to need to know them. All right, but it also is important that you know what they're doing, right? Like this is what reduce actually does. Okay, let's do the next one. Get combined years. We did that. Find best paying job. Find the best paying job. I'm guessing it's an array of jobs. Yep. Okay, returns a job or null. So we have an array of job, and it returns either a job or null. Okay, cool. So this this is called union. Okay, so the line thingy is called union. I actually don't know what that symbol's called, now that I think about it. Okay, but this is called union. What this means is that this function could return a job or it could return null. Either which one is acceptable. Okay, so use the get annual pay method of the jobs array to find the job with the highest annual pay. If the array is empty, to return null. Don't worry about ties. Assume there will not be multiple jobs that tie for the best paying job. Okay, cool. That makes it simple. So basically, if job.length is equal to 0, we're just going to head and return null. Okay, because there are no jobs in the thing. Else. All right, find the best paying job. Sounds like placeholder, loop through stuff, return placeholder. Okay, it sounds like the same pattern. So since that's the case, let's go ahead and do that. All right, so do they want the job itself? Okay, cool. So let best paying, do camel case, paying job equals, let's do job. And then we will do the for loop for let candidate, oh no, let job of, this should be plural, jobs, and then we will return the best paying job. All right, so basically if the job dot get annual pay is greater than best paying job dot get annual pay, best paying job equals job. All right, it needs to start off as usual for it's assigned, so it'll need to be assigned something. All right, cool. So we'll just make it a new job. Oh, it can't be a new job. It's an interface. Okay, it will just start off as null. All right, and then ooh, this might not work. That's okay, we got this. All right, let's do let highest salary equals 0. We need a number. So if the current job's annual pay is greater than highest salary, then best paying job equals job, and then we'll say highest salary equals job dot get annual pay. There we go. And then we'll just do let return is used for its assigned. So this is another step. This is a little annoying. Okay, so I just need to put this exclamation point here. That'll be fine. So basically what this exclamation point after the variable name means is that it's telling TypeScript, like TypeScript is like a nag. It's like, hey, is there any chance this could be undefined? Because on line 45, since I don't give a value for job, it's like, hey, there could be like some world where this is undefined. And I'm letting TypeScript know, like, no, TypeScript, like, calm down. There is going to, like, because I have this here, I obviously will have one job at least. So whatever the highest salary for that job is going to be it. So we'll always get the best paying job. So I'm just letting TypeScript know to calm down. Alrighty, now of course there is the $1,000,000 question. How do we do this fancy, Jonathan? It's actually very fancy. C# has a much nicer way of doing this. All right, so let's go over here. I'm just going to take all this stuff as usual, and then we'll do fancy. All right, there is a math.max. So math is a class. It's called a static class, meaning that static classes are not instantiated, but they're available globally. What that means in layman's terms, you'll never do new math. The math class just always exists. There's one of it, and it's everywhere. So I can just do see, I just type math.max, and it's like, cool, yeah, bro, I know what that is. So what it will do is you'll give it an array of values, and it'll give you the maximum one out of them. So the problem is that, hey, jobs is not an array of numbers, right? This is an array of job. I really would just like the annual pay from each one of them. So it would be really great if I had, instead of an array of jobs, I had an array of numbers, right? Like 10,000, 500, just that one property from all the jobs in an array form. That would be really nice. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to give it the array. I'm going to put a spread operator in front. And then I'm going to do jobs.map. Okay, x dot get annual pay. Okay, I need one more thing. There we go. Okay, I still need to probably do if jobs.length is equal to 0, return null, just to satisfy the requirement. Else. So this will return the actual value that's the most out of them. So what I could do is, so let job equal, okay, it will give me the maximum one. This is a number though. So it'll give me the number. So let max salary. And then I can return jobs.find x dot get annual pay is equal to max salary. Okay. It's okay. Thank you, TypeScript. Let max job equals this. Okay. And I'm just going to tell it it's not going to be undefined. Well, okay. If max job is undefined, return null. Else, return max job. Alrighty. This actually turned out to be not as nice, just because we had to do that. We had this extra we had to return null that kind of threw a monkey wrench into things. But it's another way of doing it. You can use again math.max will give, it's hey, give me a series of values. We will learn what the spread operator is. Okay, that's what this is called, a spread operator. Okay, and map will basically say, okay, here's the way map works, right? You have job 1, job 2, job 3, right? I don't want an array of jobs. I want an array of numbers. That's where each number is the annual salary. So I want to map it. I want you to grab this one thing from the first element of the array, copy it over into a new array, and then do that the same thing for each element in the array, and then give me the new array. Okay, so that's what map does. Okay, and again, we're gonna have a whole good chunk of class to go over these, because we're gonna I've been most of the class I've been showing these to you multiple times to get you comfortable with them. The day is coming up very soon where we will just know these, where we will formally learn them. I'm doing them bit by bit so you can get used to them, but don't worry, there's going to be a period of time where I sit with you to get you to be comfortable with these, because map and filter are all very, very useful. All right, I'm just going to skip the test. I'll make the video way longer than I wanted to be, but that is it. That should have done all the requirements, so we should be good.